the call. If you would take a minute to tell us how your open week went in preparations for the Thursday night game against UCF, please.
Last week went well. Got a little bit of a head start on our game planning and installation for our game Thursday against Central Florida, and our staff was able to go on the road recruiting on Friday, and we're back at it yesterday again with us playing on a Thursday yesterday. For scheduling purposes was actually a Tuesday, so we had lengthy meetings and a full padded practice, and we'll get out there this afternoon again for what's typically an in-season Wednesday practice.
And we'll take questions for Coach Levine. Please star 1 on your telephone to join the queue. The operator will introduce you. Again, do we have questions for Coach Levine, please? Make sure that the queue is working here.
We'll now take our first question from Shannon Green from Orlando Centennial. Please go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I had my mute button on. Good morning. How are you doing today, Coach?
Great, Shannon. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for asking. 4 games in the season. You guys are, I'm just curious to know, what do you feel like you've learned about this team so far?
It's a great question, Shannon. I think I know this from week 1 to week 4. We're a much improved team. When you look at our last 3 games, I think we're +8 in the turnover margin. We're executing much better in all 3 phases. So, early on, I think we had to work through some things on offense, defense, and even special teams. And I think any mistakes we made early on, they've become corrected. And I think that's what as you get into the month of October, you certainly want to be able to say that you're improving in all 3 phases. And I think we are. I think we've got great leadership from within our program. I knew that going into the season, and I think with the adversity we faced with the disappointing outcome in our first game this season, we've really seen our student athletes that are leaders of our program, and not just our captains. We've got, I think I mentioned this before, we've got 6 captains, but we had when we had our young men vote, there were around another 8 young men that received 20, 30, and 40 votes, but not enough to be elected captain, which tells you that we've got great leadership, and I think we've seen that come to the front.
Now that you've had some time to sort of look at the game tape with UCF, what are the biggest threats that you think they pose?
Well, they're really in all phases. I mean, defensively, Coach O'Leary's teams have always been extremely disciplined, play great defense. I think their linebackers are very, very physical, very active. And I think this is a great tackling team. They rarely miss tackles. Offensively, I think Standback, I think he's one of the more underrated young running backs in the country right now. I think last season as a youngster for them was just kind of the beginning of what is going to be a great career for him, and very dangerous. And hard to really bring down with one guy. Their offensive line is I think is really, really talented, and they've got great receivers. And I think that while they've played 3 quarterbacks, I think all 3 certainly have ability. I think they're 3 a little bit different styles, but I think they're doing a great job playing to their strengths. And I think Justin Holman, he doesn't look like a sophomore when he's out there taking the snap. And then special teams. Warden's been back there returning punts for him for a couple of years now, does a great job. And then the freshman kick returner they got, as big as he is and electric as he is a threat as well. So it's there's not you don't put the film on and say, wow, here's a weakness for Central Florida. You don't do that. They're very, very well coached and very disciplined and very talented in all 3 phases.
And finally, Coach, do you feel like your kids are pretty confident headed into this game? I mean, they're opening in their own stadium. this time for the conference. And then earlier, I guess last week, Deontay had made a couple of remarks about feeling like, that they were going to do well against UCF. Do you feel like the kids feel pretty confident?
I think, we're certainly excited to play UCF at home. And, I think we're gaining some confidence. I think after the first game this season, I think our confidence, any that we had going into the season, took a little bit of a hit. And then I think, we've battled back, winning our second game in a shutout fashion over Grambling, then playing a top 25 BYU team on the road, with having a chance to go tied at the end, and then winning by over 30 points at home in this last game. So I think I think our confidence of our student athletes is growing, and again, it's certainly good to have this game Thursday night at our place.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Shannon.
And we'll take our next question from Joseph Duarte from Houston Chronicle.
Hey, good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Joseph.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, I guess it goes without saying, it is the conference opener, but in terms of you guys and UCF, being a former Conference USA rival, is this a rivalry game to you guys in terms of, not only the importance, but just the two schools and the history, and you play, I believe, 4 of the 5 games have been really close, just that history between the two programs going back to CUSA?
I don't know. I mean, it's certainly a very important game. I think it's two programs that have great tradition and I think great recent history, and like you mentioned, I think great games against each other, against one another. Whether it's a rivalry or not, it probably depends on individuals' opinions and how you define the word rivalry. I mean, again, I think it's two great programs going up against each other. I think when you talk about rivalries, is that more programs that recruit against each other, that are closer in proximity? I don't know. I think certainly the University of Central Florida, their program and their fan base can't wait to play Houston, and I think our fan base and our program's excited to play them. I think what they did last year speaks for itself, and not only during the regular season, but in the BCS Bowl game, and again, it'll be a great challenge for us.
And lastly, coming off of your best rushing game of the season, they are tops in the league in run defense. Can you just kind of talk a little bit about that in terms of what you need out of your running game, starting with the offensive line, and just that task of going up against such a strong run defense?
Well, I think a couple of things. I think when you talk about Central Florida's run defense, and you say they're tops in the league, they're going to be one of the top run defenses in the country every year, and that's just a staple of their program and their defense, and Coach O'Leary and his philosophy. And again, I think on our end, what I've said in the past still holds true. We got to not be one-dimensional. We've got to be balanced, and we've got to be able to run the football, take pressure off our passing game, and move the chains and get first down. So it's something. Again, I think when Shannon from asked me a minute ago about our team's confidence, I think when you run for 399 yards, it helps build your confidence. And coming off the game 2 weeks ago against BYU, where we did not run the ball effectively or efficiently, it was good to get the ground game going against UNLV.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach, we thank you for your time today. We look forward to talking to you again next Monday.
Likewise. Thank you.